always had instances of, sadly MPs being murdered has happened before, MPs being attacked has happened before, but what we're experiencing now is a constant change in behaviour from a certain section of society. I entered the House of Commons in 2010, and from 2010 I've seen a dramatic change. I think the referenda have a lot to do with triggering this. My first experience of this kind of out of control behaviour was when I was campaigning in the Scottish independence referendum, but then when the EU referendum started, it went to a completely different scale. And I come from 35 years in politics, being a trade union official. I am not frightened of robust political debate or arguments being put. That is absolutely not where I'm coming from. But I think this is now a persistent, constant thing that we are having to deal with. I do think it's impacting women members far more than men. And it is, from my point of view, beyond acceptable. In terms of how resilient we are, I think members of Parliament are resilient people. The very nature of what we put ourselves forward to do, to go through selection rounds and get elected, you cannot be a shrinking violet. You have got to be fairly robust. So I don't think us as a group of individuals, I don't think we're not resilient people. But I think this is reaching a point, or reached a point probably some time ago, where it isn't acceptable what's going on. The vast majority of people that we meet in our constituencies in Parliament are very pleasant, very nice, even if you have totally different viewpoints. And I would like to stress that this is not all of society. This is a small group of people. And we are getting threatened. I think we should be treated the same as any other individual by the police and by security people. And I think a line has to be drawn. And I would describe it very much as what we accept as usual behaviour and what is beyond that line of usual behaviour. And I think once something crosses that line, it should be, clamped down on quite severely. As far as policing is concerned, I have to say my force in Northumbria, I cannot fault the way they've handled the threats that I've had, some of which have ended up in court and people have been found guilty. Some haven't for various reasons, but it is ongoing and it's constant. So I cannot fault the way my experience has been with Northumbria, and I know my colleagues from the North East have had the same experience. But speaking to colleagues from around the country, it varies entirely. It sometimes varies where you've built a relationship with an inspector or a superintendent or somebody, and then there's a change of personnel, and that can make a difference. So the response across the country is very variable. And I think that's one of the things where we do need an all-round approach moving forward to tackle this, because the response in Sunderland, where I represent, to Newport in Wales or Glasgow in Scotland or the home county should be exactly the same. We shouldn't have this variance in approach depending on which police area we have. The way we work, I can only say the way I work has completely changed in the last 2 or 3 years. I live 2 miles from where I was born, so I'm often from the area that I represent. I can't walk down the street and not know somebody, whether it's through the job I do or just I've gone to school with them or they've gone to school with my kids or whatever. And I think that's the other thing to say, that members of Parliament are people as well, and we have lives apart from being members of Parliament. I have staff, I have children, I have lots of grandchildren. And you're involved in all of their lives, and when you're doing that, of course you speak to people if they come up to you and want to talk to you as your MP, but usually there's that understanding, well, they want to say hello or they've got an issue and you tell them how to get in touch, but they respect that you're doing things with your grandkids. This is actually changing the way certainly I operate, and I know a lot of other MPs operate, in that if we've got a particularly difficult situation going on, I won't wander down the beach with my grandkids because I won't expose them to that threat in case something happens. And moving on to social media, I think you know, social media in many ways has been fantastic. Facebook, Twitter, all of these platforms. But there is an element of people that are abusing this, and they are managing to try and disrupt what I think us doing our job. And a recent example, something was posted on, went into a public domain about some campaigning myself, other MPs were doing around the area with meeting points on, and some of the people who I have difficulty with decided to then try and organise protests around those places. So myself and other colleagues who were exposed in that way had to have the police there. They did a very, very quiet operation of being with us, around us, but in order for us to be able to do what any MP should be able to do, and that is go and talk up to residents about problems they're experiencing. That's the job we do. And in terms of interfering with democracy, it absolutely is trying to interfere with democracy, because it is trying to stop us doing what we should be doing. On that day, they didn't actually turn up, but they had created a whole hoo-ha and a whole response that the police had to put in place in case they did turn up. Surgeries, most MPs I think used to do surgeries around the patch with the open invitation, not knowing who was going to turn up. I don't do that anymore. I do as many surgeries, I see as many people, but they're all by appointment and they're all in my office, where we have levels of security and protection, not just for me, but for my staff who are coming to work and doing a job. And it's the same with wherever we go. We don't advertise what we do anymore. We advertise when we've done something. So they're not getting away with what they're trying to do, which is to try and disrupt what we do, but we're having to all the time be creative around what are the implications if we do this, how do we do it? And it just is never ending and getting worse and worse and worse from my point of view. It's not scaling down, it is scaling up. And I don't think anybody who is doing a job, and at the end of the day, being an MP is a huge privilege and it's a huge honour, but it is a job. And when you're doing a job, you should be able to do that job in a safe environment. And that's where the balance between, yes, the rights of protesters, and I would always defend the right to protest. I've been on numerous marches and demonstrations over the years, but you do it peacefully. And the rights of MPs to get on with what we are paid to do and not be at risk by virtue of the job that we're doing. Thanks. Vic.
All right, yeah. Okay. Right. Is that what you call you then?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I say, we've received a complaint, we being the police, and it's in relation to some Facebook posts that's been put out, and it's all centred around.
Can I stop you there? Who?
Right. I'll ask you first of all, and then I'll give you some details. All right. Basically, there's a Facebook post that's been put out, and that, and it's in relation to a candidate for the Pallion by-election that just took place last week, yeah?
Yeah.
And the complaint has been that the terms, or what was put on that Facebook account was an attack on him as an individual, as opposed to his policies or anything that people are going to say that he's going to do if he was to be in office. And there is legislation that covers that sort of stuff, all right? The reason I'm here today is that the Facebook site that was put out on is like a discussion site, which I believe you're connected with.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the particular post that we're on about? I know you've asked me a question, but I'll come on to that later on if you don't mind.
No.
You do?
I'm not going to answer any questions.
Right.
Right? Until I find out who has accused me.
Basically, he wants to know where the complaints come from, so effectively...
I want to know the names of the people who have accused me.
Right, the complaint hasn't come towards you directly. The complaint that's come out is that there was a post on the site which somebody connected to the Labour representative has seen. And they've made that complaint to the police.
Right, I need to know who.
Well, it's a Labour representative.
I need to know
from
here. I'm not answering any questions until I have the name of the person.
It's come third party through the MP.
Right. That's
Julie Elliott.
Julie Elliott, right.
Now, it's been reported to her by one of the staff members, presumably from within the Labour Party, who's seen the post, reported to her, and she's reported to the police that she thinks it was It was
Can I-
beyond the terms.
The Labour Party member, is their name?
Can you have the Labour Party member?
So who's actually
Who's
started the
actually
conversation?
started?
Who's actually raised?
It's come from Miles Elliott.
Miles Elliott. Right, so it's so.
Right, well,
Okay.
so he's seen the post, it's
Yeah.
been reported to the police.
Right.
Because it's coming to the police,
Yeah.
and the terms of what's there, we're duly bound to investigate the
That's
matter,
fine.
right?
Yeah.
Now, you're here today purely because it's my belief that you are the administrator
I
to
am.
that site.
Post on the 12th of June on the Problem with Sunderland's Labour page. We had a small group meeting last night and agreed some basics for a new group. We intend to register this group and spread the word. It will be an alliance of independent thinkers, open to all apart from the far left or far right. This is not a quick fix, and last night it was agreed to begin with a 5-year plan to change Sunderland's political landscape. Here's hoping it works. At least we're going to try. Once set up, we hope you all join and support the cause. Lots of stuff to discuss there, I'll keep it brief. Can we have a copy of your 5-year plan, please, to change Sunderland's political landscape?
No comment.
Who is this small group that you met with?
No comment.
Does Julie Elliott figure in your political plan?
No comment.
Because quite a lot of the time, you call on her to resign,
No comment.
call on her to be home.
No comment.
Does she feature in this 5-year plan?
No comment.
Is that an end goal to remove her from office?
No comment.
You know, to say, you know,
No comment.
okay. I mean, do you want to encourage her to resign?
No comment.
Is the idea to put pressure on her
No comment.
to resign through this campaign?
No comment.
So, yesterday I was arrested by the Northumbria Police. They've had my phones for a year, my phones and computer for a year. And yesterday they raided my house and took my other computer and phones because they said the phone what they've had for a year, they have found indecent images on it. Sent to me by Mr. Billy Charlton, right? They said it was at 1 minute past. That's the video, right? It's supposed to be of a boy with a donkey or a goat or something, right? It doesn't download on my phone. It's never been opened, right? I've tried doing all that and it doesn't work, right? Just go every time, right? So I've never seen that video, what they're talking about. Now I can go to other videos on here. I'll get one that's not on YouTube. So that you know it's this thing, YouTube. There's one. And as you can see, all the other videos work on my phone. But not that one. The one that they say I should have deleted if I'd seen it. Well, if I'd seen it, I would have deleted it because my grandchildren have constantly got hold of my phone playing Crossy Road on it. So I'm hardly likely to leave images of indecent images on my phone when my children have got it, grandchildren have got my phone all the time. Truth of the matter is, they just wanted my other computer because on the 3rd of October, I go to court for accusing MP Julie Elliott of perverting the course of justice, and they wanted the information what I hold on that computer to help them with their court case against me. That's what it's about.
And do you have a contact number you're willing to give us at all in case we need to be in contact?
No. You can come and see me.
Before we leave, I'll give you a copy of this,
Yeah.
alright? But I need to fill it in as we go in case we see anything else. We'll walk round. Okay. Does this lead through to another room, does it? Oh. Is there any other computer devices I need to be aware of?
No.
Hey? Well, that's some sort of weird thing. I'll go ahead in the kitchen and when we're done.
Yeah.
Is that one of the building phones?
Where?
Just over there.
Well, there's none of mine there, so I presume so.
Should I speak to them very briefly, double check it's one of their phones? Is that your phone in there, in the kitchen? The phone in the kitchen, is that yours? Yeah, just the one on the side, I don't know if one of your labs.
Oh, is your phone in that
Is that
one?
your phone in a proper rubber case?
Yes,
Is that your phone in there? Never mind, we'll leave it there, I just want to make sure it's yours. Alright, cheers guys. Okay?
Yeah.
Take a photo of the back so I need to write this up again. Right. And the date, what's the date?
20.
I'll leave this here for you, okay?
Yeah.
That's your copy. Let me cross that out and say, occupy a copy. I shall leave it there for you, alright?
Yeah.
And we're done.
Right, you've only put Apple Computer, you haven't put down.
Do you want me to put in the keyboard and mouse
I
as
want
well?
everything down, yes.
There you go.
You're going to do it properly, you may as well do it properly.
There you go.
I presume the police off the drive will be leaving now as well?
They've gone. They've already gone.
Yeah.
They've gone?
Why they were made to stand there and make my place look at target.
Just in case you dispose with evidence.
I've got nothing to hide, love. Never have had.
So the police came at the police went into my bedroom and took my computer, which was all they were interested in. They came in here. Did they search my house properly? No, they certainly didn't. So I don't want my grandchildren being seen. So what's them? Eh? And a hard drive and a phone box. We never found any of them. I don't even know if there's a phone in there. So all of this stuff, these all storage devices, and I'm accused of having indecent images of children. They came into here, never searched a thing. Look at all that paperwork what they missed. Why? What, couldn't there be indecent images of children amongst that lot? All they were interested was getting my computer. Never went into these drawers at all. Oh, right, there you go. Hard drive, massive hard drive. And they would have loved that one. But the proof's in the video. They didn't look because they, as I keep repeating, they only came for my computer because they want to look into it and see what I hold on the court case which will take place on the 3rd of October in Leeds Court. Whereas I'm accused, or I have accused MP Julie Elliott of using Northumbria Police as a personal police force, which she is, and I've accused her of perverting the course of justice, which I believe she has. And that's the case.